On day 2 of the Acadia, got all 4 of the VCT solenoids out. There was a little bit of crap in them, but they get replaced regardless when I do this job. Coolant neck is off, water pump is off. Other than that, just getting the front cover stripped. All 4 of the cam sensors are disconnected. I usually leave them in the timing cover if I can. I don't like pulling them out if I don't have to when they're in there, because usually the O-ring has some stick to it and I don't want that to possibly break the tab on the sensor. Still just got a couple things to get off on the bottom of the motor before the timing cover can come all the way off. I don't have a whole lot of light down here. There are 3 bolts in this bracket that hold the AC compressor on that I've got off the front. If I remember right, I think there's 1 bolt that goes in from the back sideways into the block, then that should be able to lay over. Then I've still got the power steering pump that needs to come off. Once I get that off, we should be able to unbolt the front cover, slide it forward, and get it out of there. I don't have the timing chains in yet. They're supposed to be delivered today. And I'm still waiting on the exhaust cam phasers. Once those get here, we can go ahead and get the timing chain swapped, get new phasers on the end of the camshafts, and get it put back together. But until I get those here, I'm probably not going to go any farther than just getting the cover off today. So it's probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours I'll spend on it today. Well, the more I look at it, I actually don't think the AC has to come off. We can leave that in place. Now, the power steering pump I do have disconnected. There's 1 bolt that you can see right there. The other one, you're gonna have to reach your hand in through here, come up on the back side. It's gonna be just above this line, about a ½ inch towards the center of the car. I really don't have any advice on how to get to it. It's not fun. So I broke it loose with a ratchet. Now what I ended up doing was taking the socket and extension, putting it on there, then reaching my electric ratchet up in the hole after I got it broke loose and backing it off with this. I recommend taking that one off before you take the front one off here, because if you take the front one off first, it's going to be hanging the entire way to the pump on that bolt, and it's just going to make it harder to get out of there. So take the back one off. It's going to suck. Your hand's probably going to cramp up, but it's just 1 bolt. Once you get it out of there, though, take the front one off, just push the pump off to the side. And now, as far as I can remember, and it has been a while since I've had one of these apart, we should be ready to pull the timing cover. So I'm going to start pulling all these timing cover bolts out. We'll see what happens when I get there. Worst case, I might have to actually read the service manual, but I'm pretty sure it's ready to come out. Alright, I've got all the bolts out of the timing cover. I've got it popped loose, but I forgot to take the stud out. It goes through the alternator. So I'm going to do that real quick here, and then we'll get right back to taking this out. Alright, well, got the timing cover all the way out. So these right here are the holes for the VCT solenoids. These are going to be your cam position sensors. If you look inside of this though, you can see why we ended up having to do timing chains. This thing is sludgy as hell. It's a really common problem to run into on these 3.6s. So I'll set this down, we'll hop back up on top, and I'll show you guys what we found inside the motor. Alright, inside the motor here, definitely had a bunch of crap inside of the VCT solenoids. If you look inside the engine, it's not very clean. This thing's got about 138,000 miles on it. The front chain, from what I can feel on the tensioner, it's about 3/4 of the way out. The back chain is all the way out. That tensioner is 100% extended. I haven't really got down on the bottom side to look what the main chain looks like, but this engine does use 3 different chains. So it also has an interesting timing procedure to take it apart. You set the crank to the first timing position, then you can take off the chain for the back side. Then, with the bottom chain and the front chain still attached, you crank it to the second timing position, then you can remove these 2 chains. I have the chains, I have my intake cam phasers, I do not have the exhaust phasers yet. Those are supposed to be delivered sometime today, but I'm not sure when they're going to get here. So until I get those, I'm not even going to mess with pulling any of this apart, because I don't want to leave it apart any longer than I have to. So for right now, I'm probably just going to go ahead and close up the garage. I'm about 2 hours into today or so. So in all, we're, I think, like 5 hours into getting it this far apart. So pretty well on schedule to be about a 10-hour job. You know, I probably easily wasted an hour trying to figure out stuff that I've forgotten since the last time I've done one of these. But we're going to go ahead and I'll probably clean up some parts and stuff like that today, but this is where I'm going to go ahead and end today's video, unless I get timing stuff, and if I do, I'm just going to go ahead and make another video just on the timing procedures for this motor.